I looked everywhere and I couldn't find a video. And while I can read instructions, I'm better with videos, and I'm sure there's other people that are visual like me. So anyway, I wanted to install these Rivco lights. I know somebody that has one, and they're really blinding bright. It's excellent. And I'm going on a cross-country trip. I know I'm going to be in the middle of some dark roads, and I want some extra lighting. So anyway, this is part GL1800 6F, and it's for the Goldwing. It comes with a bracket already, as you can see in the picture right here. And all the wiring harness was pretty much put together. You can get this at rivcoproducts.com. They weren't cheap, but they are really good lights. I'm not going to say they're not. They are really good lights, or I wouldn't have spent the money on them. I already knew in advance. So these are the lights. They're only 4 LEDs. See if I can get a better picture of it. It's really bright outside. But anyway, the bracket comes with it. These bolts that are, they say they're the longer screws. I'm trying to see, they're the 5mm screws. I think that's right. So anyway, you take the old ones out. They're the ones in the middle. My kids are out here playing, so I'm sure I won't be able to find the old ones so that I can show them to you. But anyway, you take the old ones out of here. Those were some black ones that were in here that already came on the bike. You take those out, and then you hold this up with the new screws, and they just screw right into the old ones. You just put the screw in. It's a machine screw with a washer, and that fits in there pretty good. And then while the bracket is in place, the only thing that's left is 2 more holes, one on each side, which is ones that hold the lights. So you take a 1/4-inch drill, and right through that hole that's available, you go right through the plastic fairing. And once that's there, you're going to mount the only other 2 screws that come with it. They're hex nuts. Let me see if I can get the camera in there so you can see it behind the light. Where is the light? I can't even find the light. Here, let me try it this way. Okay, there's the light, and there's 1 hex nut right there. You see it? That's the hex nut. Those are the only other 2 screws. So these screw in, the machine screws come. The machine screws come with it. There's 2 of those, and then the only other 2 screws that come with it are these hex nuts. So these hex nuts go in there, and they tell you to mount the lights with the nuts facing inward here on the pivot bracket. They tell you to mount it with the nuts facing inward. So these are the nuts they're talking about. So those go to the inside. So you have to kind of maneuver it. The hex bolt and the bolt that they give you, the lock nut that they give you, is 10mm. It's kind of hard to, you stick the hex bolt in, you stick the rubber washer on top of that, then the metal washer on top of it that they give you. They're bigger ones, and then you put the lock washer on, and then with 2 10, if I can get that out, 10mm wrenches, you can put it together. And make sure it's really tight, because the wind's going to be hitting these, and the guy that I saw that installed, he put it in. They didn't get put in too tight, and the wind turned it while we were in the middle of riding at night. We had to stop it and tighten it. So make sure those are down pretty tight. So after that, I just fed the wires. I didn't tie them down until later, but underneath the steering, there's a little bracket here. I just used a wire tie, and I gave it some slack for the steering, so that the steering, let me back up so you can see, the steering is not going to be affected by that cable. That's really important. This one, since it's going up into the left side fairing, that extra pocket, I just moved that straight up. I didn't bother tying that, because I pulled it in, and once I pulled it into the bike, this is the pocket that you have to take out. It's on your left side while you're riding. See if I can focus in on that. Okay, here's the left pocket. So you take that out. These are the 4 pop rivets that they tell you to take out. You just push them in 1/4 of the way, and they just come right out. And once you do that, you have to take this piece of plastic off first, or the pocket won't come out. So once I got all that out, I had a 12-volt socket in mine. This is an accessory that I added in my pocket, and this was the accessory plug that they're talking about. So the accessory plug, if you don't have anything plugged in, it's this red one right here. So I just disconnected my 12-volt accessory that I added into my pocket. This goes in its place, and when I put it back, the other side of it is here. This will go into the 12-volt accessory. So this is the harness that they come with. This is probably the only thing I didn't tie down, because I wanted to show you. I'm just gonna use the wire ties that they give you, and it wraps around the little holder that's there, and I'm just gonna tie it tight. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. I've seen others do it on videos, so I'm sure I can do it. So the wires that came in from the fairing, once they're routed inside, I just used a wire tie right here to tie them down so they won't go back down. And then after I plugged up all the harness is pretty much plugged up by itself. There was only a couple things I had to do to it, which was plug up the wires. And the way they have it fixed up, the wires that you're plugging up to the relay, it only goes one way, so you're not going to foul that up. And then all the slack, I just tied it up with a wire tie like this, and I'm just going to, once I cut these off, I just cut them with a wire tie. Once I get all these cut off, once I get all those off, I'll cut them. I'll just feed it back in there and make it a nice installation. That goes there. That's going to hold the relay, and then I have one more down here. Make sure I'm not grabbing a wire. Okay, and that's it. So now that makes for a nice clean installation. The switch, all I did was I took the headset and mic adapter that the bike comes with. I pulled this off. It's just being held by a tight piece of plastic. I took this off. I put the switch in, and then I fed this back in. So that way, when I'm going to use it, I'll put it back later. So this is the switch, and it comes with double-sided tape. From my experience, use smooth rubbing alcohol and clean the area that you're going to put this on, and you won't have a problem with it coming off. If you just stick it on, it'll eventually pop off. It might still anyway, but it'll hold a lot better if you clean the surface first. So get some isopropyl alcohol with a rag. I'm just going to put mine right above here. That way when I'm riding, I can just hit the switch right there. I'll know, I can feel this, and I'll know where the switch is. It's just a single pole, single throw switch. The way I fed the wires, I have this, I know Home Depot sells it. It's a pickup tool. It's spring loaded, and at the other end of it, when you squeeze the handle, these little claws come out. I forgot the name of it. I guess it doesn't matter as long as it gets the job done. And all I did was I worked it down, grabbed the wires, pulled them back up. That's how I got them into the air. And then I came over here, I fed it up this side, the outside of the fairing, and I worked my way up to the pocket, and then I pulled the wire down, and then I did the same thing. I fed the wire here. I zip tied it because I don't want the power wire, which is what feeds power to the relay. I didn't want that getting melted by the engine, so I kind of routed it where I knew the engine wasn't, and I worked my way back behind this frame support, and then back behind this frame, and then I came over here. I didn't want to put it directly to the battery. I used the accessory. There's an accessory plug right here. There's a screw that's in the fuse box. So all I did, this was kind of big for it, so I just put another connector, and I put heat shrink tubing on it so that it's protected. And this is a positive feed only on ignition. so I know my lights won't have any kind of power at all. The relay won't have any kind of power when the ignition's off. And then I took my time and I just started using the supplied wire ties, nylon wire ties, and I started feeding everything in. This is the fuse they give it to you. This is the wire they give you to crimp, and that's it. All I got to do is put the bike together. But I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you working, so you can see what it's like. Okay, so I'm going to turn the ignition on, so you can see there's ignition power. So the power from the batteries is going to feed to the relay, and then all the other power is supplied from that accessory plug. It's red right here. Okay. So right now the lights are off. You can see the other lights are on, except my headlights. I have my headlights on a different system where they only come on when the ignition's turned on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the ignition. I have HID lights in right now. They just kill them. So that's it.